Hey guys, I'm Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and this is part 4 of a 5-part series on understanding and identifying borderline PD in terms of breaking down what the criteria in our DSM-5, what they really look like in real life. The first 3 videos were about the emotional, the cognitive, and the behavioral instability in borderline, and this video is going to address the sense of self, the damaged sense of self, the unstable sense of self, the just general instability in sort of who am I, how do I see myself, and how do I show up in the world that plays out in borderline PD. So the first thing we're going to see with this disorder is that core sense of being abandoned, not being accepted for who they are. And this can really manifest in a fear or a paranoia of being liked, of being accepted, and it may even involve people that they don't even like accepting them. They have a hard time holding anyone else's dislike of them, discontent with them, and they're often scanning the environment for any sense of rejection or abandonment. Now, because they are wanting to be liked so much, they can have a fluid sense of who they are. So they might change their persona, their identity, their belief systems, depending upon who they're with. They are chameleon-like in that regard, and that is why it can feel so good when you are in the light. I always say with the borderline, when they're getting you and you're getting them, it may be that they are morphing into something that they think you want them to be accepted, to not be left. And the problem is it's not going to be stable because it's going to change for them with the next person, the next situation, and things like that. So you're going to have a difficult time really knowing the core of who they are because they have a difficult time knowing who am I at the core. Because they want to be so loved and accepted and they're so terrified of being abandoned and rejected, they often present with a facade. They're often over the top. It has that sort of narcissistic flavor that sort of overlaps at times, where they can be the most loved person in the room. I've had a lot of patients who've had borderline parents and will say, yeah, like they can be the most magnetic and most charming person in the room, and people love them. They just don't, they don't understand what it's like to live with them. And so they're often creating this illusion of who they are. They can be magnetic and magnanimous and engaging, but it's often a smoke and mirror situation because they're just doing that to be loved and liked and accepted and adored. And beneath that, there's oftentimes this just vacancy there about who they really are. They often can have a difficult time accepting the changes in others in terms of their appearance or who they are. They like to see the world in a certain way. And so there can be a difficulty there with accepting a change perhaps that you've made, especially if that change somehow they think impacts negatively upon them, right? So if you were a certain kind of child who dressed a certain way and now you're going through your own changes and it doesn't really match what they thought they wanted you to be as a reflection of them, and that kind of, as I said before, goes with the narcissism that can overlap. They can have a hard time accepting that because it doesn't align with who they want the world to see them as. They often have this sense of, if I'm not with you, I don't exist. Because of that fear of never being enough or accepted and abandoned, if they're not getting the constant reaffirmation that you matter to them, that they matter to you, then they can often feel like it doesn't exist, or, I'm extremely feeling rejected right now and unloved. And that can then trigger them into acting and behaving in certain ways that will be their attempts to reinforce that you do love them, that you do care for them. But often they will be in very negative ways and very hurtful ways. They often have this high and low sense of self because it is so over the board and chaotic. They can feel at times better than others and at times inferior to others. And so it's always this sort of shape-shifting sense of self that they're trying to create and attach to that's going to give them that's going to fill that hole inside. But because it's often an empty place inside, it often creates more chaos as they try to fill these needs. So really the core of this is really this, vacant sense of self inside that is always longing so much to be accepted, to be loved, and to be adored, as I said, but will often engage in ways to fill that are wounding. So the bottom line of this one is you're not really going to know at the core who they are. There's going to be this sort of high highs and low lows, this I thought I knew what they were, but now I don't. Because it can be so quickly changing and manifesting, you can think this is like a really loving, available person, and then it can flip the switch like that, and you can think, wow, this person at their core doesn't have good intentions, is wounding, is hurtful. So if you can say that as I'm trying to identify this disorder in somebody, yeah, I don't really know who they are. It seems to change. It can change like the weather. It can change in terms of what's popular or trending, or what attention they're seeking and who they think they want to be. This might be another part of this disorder that might give you a clue. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you'll consider subscribing and clicking the bell, and that way you'll get notified when I post new videos. Thank you as always for watching. I hope this was something that gives you a little more understanding, and the last video will address the relational instability, which is another huge hallmark of BPD. And I hope it will help you understand yourself or someone else in a way that leads you to getting the help, love, and treatment you deserve. So thanks again for watching. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you next time.